one of the most damaging and dangerous beliefs in the manifesting area, in the law of attraction area, and all these type of things, is the belief that you don't need to do anything for you to create, manifest whatever it is that you want. You can just manifest it. There's nothing for you to do. And while often I understand how it's framed and why it's explained this way, this is a very dangerous belief to have. And often when I see my clients, when I work with people in that kind of, mind space and so on, I can clearly see that the gap that they have is not showing up in their reality, meaning they're not taking the action, they're not facing the fear, they're still limited and trapped by the fear of rejection. What are going to people say? What if it doesn't work? What if I lose everything? What if I get embarrassed? And those fears are keeping them in the old reality, in the old identity. Because who is acting this way? Who is feeling the fear? Who is pressing on the brake? Is the old identity. And so they bypass the growth, they bypass that emotional journey, they bypass breaking through that fear and the growth that comes with it and everything else, the result, the possibility that comes with it. Because somebody tells them and because they believe in the simplicity that it will just happen if I continue to affirm or to watch those videos or read those books or do all those things, right? They're trying to bypass that personal growth without really realizing that it's that old identity and all those subconscious shadow beliefs that are holding them back in that place of familiarity, but giving them a little sense of progress because they see results on the internet and other people and strangers and all of that. Oh, it works for me and so on. And I'm not saying that sometimes amazing thing can happen where you just don't even know how it happened and you didn't do, but you were receptive and you were ready. But sometimes the biggest transformation, the biggest shift, especially when you really want to transform things in your life, you gotta show up, and you gotta show up in a very different way than you used to do in your life. That means maybe you need to have that hard conversation. Maybe you need to trust again. Maybe you need to forgive. Maybe you need to have that intimate conversation. Maybe you need to go and get that new job or that new car, that new thing that you want. Maybe you need to face the fear of what if it doesn't work, but I do it anyway. Instead of waiting for the certainty or waiting for the things to happen, but then I will do it. So we bypass and wait for things to happen, for the fear to disappear, to get the certainty before we take action. And that is the old identity, the old mindset, holding us back, that invisible anchor that holds us back. Because you know that if you watch this channel before, you know that manifesting is not about getting the things, but it's about who you're becoming, right? It's creating that state of being, it's creating that identity to be like, you know what? If I already had a successful channel, or if I already had a successful relationship, or if I already have the job, or whatever I wanted, right? How would I act differently? What would I do differently in that regard of this situation? Would I hold back? Would I be still afraid to post online or make videos or do certain things or dress a certain way or whatever? Or would I actually do it? Like, what would that version of myself do? And maybe I would do it, but I would be still afraid, but I would do it anyway. And I can tell you that from my personal experience, being, owning my own business and so on, is the biggest spiritual journey, the biggest spiritual catalyst, because everything triggers you and everything depends on you. Fear of poverty, fear of rejection, what if it doesn't work, feeling of being embarrassed, feeling of like, what are people gonna say? So everything becomes a catalyst to either shrink or to grow. But you gotta make the decisions of how you show up in your reality. And nobody can do that for you.